Hey, what's up guys? So this is just going to be a long-term review of the Carbol 12 volt electric fuel pump. What's up guys, and welcome back. So if you have watched my previous videos on the Transit, then you know I had a little bit of an issue with the mechanical fuel pump, and I decided, after chatting with a few people, let's go with an electric one. E-fuel conversions are very popular on older diesels, and I thought, you know what, let's just save all the hassle. We will put ourselves an electric fuel pump on. So I've come up with this one. Now, it's by a company called Carbol, and this is a 12 volt pump for diesel. Well, I think they actually advertise it for diesel, water and petrol gasoline, but obviously this is going to be pumping diesel. Now, before I really get into this, one thing I should mention and make very, very clear: this pump is not suitable for ethanol based fuels. So if you have gasoline or petrol in your area and you can only buy it with ethanol or an ethanol blend, then this pump is absolutely not suitable for your application. Anyway, let's just get into it, and yeah, it's a little bit of footage from when I was actually installing it, so yeah, let's get in, see what this thing's like. What's up guys? So we are now about 3 days after my long walk, and been having some issues, not with the engine itself but with fuel delivery. Let's go over everything that happened and let's bring you up to date on what the situation is right now. So I've had the van running. I've run it around the village here several times and it's been okay. So started heading off down to the city. I was just going to basically just give the van a good run out, put some fuel in, do a little bit of shopping, you know, just normal stuff. Now, on the way down there, the engine cut out, and it would appear that I had ran out of fuel, even though the fuel gauge was reading 1/4 of a tank. Now, two things here. First of all, I should have had about 1/4 of a tank left. I started off with almost half a tank, so definitely should have had more fuel than I did. So all I could think is that the old engine, as I was coming over, it was just drinking fuel like it's on a Friday night binge. And second take from this is the fuel gauge is faulty. Now, if you remember early on in these Transit videos, I actually did a custom dashboard, and these were all aftermarket gauges. So, but if you look at the fuel gauge, now I've put 2 gallons of fuel in, and the fuel gauge is now reading almost half a tank. Oh. Fog lights on. So the fuel gauge is actually reading almost half a tank. There isn't almost half a tank of fuel in there, period. I mean, it's that simple. So yeah, fuel gauge is definitely faulty. Now, this leads us up to the other problem. I have a new fuel pump on here. I thought, you know what, we're doing the engine, a new fuel pump. It's not very happy. So, hooked up an electric fuel pump, primed everything up, hooked that pump back up again, it's still not happy. So I have to assume it's faulty. The old engine that was in, took the pump off that, tried that on. It is better than that, but it struggles to keep up with this Bosch high pressure pump, which isn't surprising. That is a very old fuel pump on there. So I now have a second dud pump, mechanical one. And after giving this a great deal of thought yesterday, I thought, you know what, we've tried the electric pump on here, it works fine. It's not my pump, by the way, it was just a borrowed one. So I went ahead and I've bought an electric pump off Amazon. So I picked myself up one of these, there's a filter and everything in there as well. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to install the electric pump and call it good. So obviously I am using a relay. I'm probably going to mount them up there somewhere. I still have that one to screw in, I keep forgetting to do it, but I'll do them, I'll put them both one each side. That's the pump assembly all put together. It'll go something like that. It does have to be within, what was it, 12 inches of the, no more than 12 inches above the height of the tank. So there's plenty of places in it. I'm going to crawl under now and just skate around, see where I can actually mount it to. I'll probably just mount it to the frame or something like that. Okay, so I actually went right next to the tank here. I figured that would be the easiest. So this will then come round, connect onto there. Then it'll be looped from here and I'll take it through all of these. Obviously I've got all the other lines to hook back up again. But yeah, that should do it. And obviously power will go that way as well. Yeah, I mean I think this is going to do nicely, this. I think it's going to work. Better than it was anyway. Okay then, we've got it all bolted in there and plumbed up. So what I've got is I do have a ground there, but I'm also running a second one up into the engine compartment as well, and it'll just to be doubly sure. I have had the pump running, just connected to the battery, so I'm just having a look under here now for leaks, and everything looks nice and dry there. So right, let's get the rest of it wired in and we will give it a test run. Well, there's the pump running. Do need to tighten that fan belt up, but well, speaks for itself. Now what I'm going to do next is get all the cabling routed and everything, and I think what I'm going to do is while I'm picking all the tools and everything up, I am going to leave it idling here for a few minutes just to empty that fuel filter out, just to make sure that the pump is keeping up. It should, but then again the two new pumps that have been on here should have as well, so yeah, I'm not I'm not making any assumptions, but anyway, let's get this buttoned up. Okay, so just going to give the van a run into the village, just a few miles, just to make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and yeah, and we'll take it from there. There's the pump running. there we have it. We now have an electric fuel pump on here. So what I'm probably going to do with this review is I'm going to put this to one side and run the van for a few months, just see how the pump actually performs, and then I will come back to it and I will finish this video off. But for now I'm happy with it. It's easily keeping up with that Bosch pump, that high pressure Bosch pump, and the van's running great. So let's see what happens in a few months' time. And as Arnie always says, I'll be back. Okay, that was cringe. Well, I had not expected to be back making an addition to this fuel pump review as quickly as this. Yeah, I'm having issues with it. Well, today I am not a happy camper. So, if you recall in my previous video when I fitted the new engine, I also purchased a new electric fuel pump. Now, I did that round about, I think I purchased it September 18th, and it is now October 25th. And that is now the output from the pump. Yes, I'm not at all impressed. So if you saw my previous video, you know, I was actually quite happy with this pump to begin with. It had a nice flow rate. It seemed to have a reasonably good build quality. I mean, it seemed solid construction and everything. You know, you got a reasonable amount of stuff in the kit. However, today it is just not. I noticed it the moment I started the van up. You just could hardly hear the pump. Now, obviously, if you saw the video, you know this tank has been out. It has been cleaned. It's all new lines. I mean, everything is new on it. So it is absolutely the issue with the pump. So I have just been online. I just logged into my Amazon account, and I'm a couple of days outside of the 1 month. That's right, 1 month warranty period on this pump. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, I would have expected maybe even 3 months, you know. But yeah, I've been to Newark Auto Jumble in the van twice, and over to the shop in Newark a couple of times. So I've basically covered somewhere between 250 and 300 miles. And yeah, it's done. So obviously I absolutely do not recommend you buying this pump. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, and there's about 5 gallons of fuel in this fuel tank as well, so I mean, it's not like it's trying to draw fuel from the bottom of the tank. So I am now going in search of a new pump, and just gonna have to bite it on this one. Well, we are still trying to drain fuel out. Obviously this is not part of this review, but I am changing the sender unit in the fuel tank. But yeah, I started at 9:30 this morning. It's now 2:30, so the pump's now been running for 5 hours straight, and I've got 3 gallon cans filled. There's about 1 gallon in the bottom of there, and yeah, so about 5 hours to drain 4-ish gallons. Yeah, it's not good. Well, it's now about 3:30 and the pump is still limping along there. Yeah, still needs getting fuel out of the tank. Yeah, I think there's about 5 gallons there now came out. But I have managed to eventually persuade the Amazon AI to put me in contact with someone, and it did let me message the seller. So it is Friday the 25th now, and it informed me that I should receive a reply by the 27th. Now, given that it's the weekend, I'm not anticipating a reply until at least Monday or Tuesday next week. So what I'll do is I'll just continue draining this, and then we will come back, or I will come back and round this video off with what happened, if anything. So yeah, I'll be back. Well, it has been about 5 days now, and the good news is I did receive a refund. Now, previously I did state that I wasn't expecting fast communications because it was the weekend when I'd messaged them. However, Carbol, the actual manufacturer and the supplier, they were very quick to respond. I will give them credit for that. They responded over the weekend and they had no issues whatsoever. They said basically the pump failed, we will issue a refund. So Monday, I think it was Monday morning, I got an email from Amazon that they had been instructed to issue a refund for the pump, which, Amazon being Amazon, it took several days, but I do have the money in my account now. So I have no issues whatsoever with Carbol. Customer services was very quick and there was just no issues. So yeah, I am happy with that. So the question you must be asking is, would I recommend this pump? And the simple answer to that is no, I would not. Now, as I stated earlier, I'm very happy with the customer service. The company itself, they dealt with it very quickly, very easily, so I am happy with that. But if you've watched my previous videos, especially over this past year, you will be aware that I have had a lot of issues with just failure amongst parts that just simply don't work out of the box, just issue after issue. So I am very sensitive to brands that I've had issues with, and quite frankly, once bitten, twice shy, as the adage goes. And with that in mind, that is why I just can't recommend this pump. I wouldn't recommend it to friends, so I can't recommend it to you. Now, I would like to point out that this pump does have a number of good reviews on Amazon. However, it also has a significant number of poor reviews, and obviously mine is one of them. So just bear that in mind. So I will bring this video to a close, and I would just like to thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful, a little bit informative, and if so, just hit that like button. You know how it goes. You've got to look after the algorithms. But yeah. Anyway, take care. Come back and see me sometime and have a good one.